It's
Here's the hot
toasty.
take.
Hot takes in
Anywhere.
a hot city. I feel very fortunate that my office has air conditioning because if not, I would just be sweating all the time. I have a giant fan on in my house. All of the windows are open. It is not super helpful, but we're it's doing its best as it can.
The acoustics of my fucking window, like it's just two apartment blocks like facing each other, and
Oh
just any
no.
sound bats around. So I keep that closed, and I can't help but fuck with every light I own whenever I stream. So it gets hot in here. Like I'm
But you
gonna be
look great.
shiny. Well,
You look
that's the
great.
key. Got a little shine, and
Most
like
most
just
people.
A
just
little bit of
note,
powder will fix that right
kind
up.
of. Oh no, I'll sweat through it. Dry pits right now. I'm gonna show you at the end. And it's just gonna be a bog.
Most
So
people don't
like,
know the
Yeah.
hair and makeup people on movie sets use these, and maybe people do know, and I'm just the idiot, but they use these little sheets that they
Oh,
put on your
blotter
head and they
sheets.
blot, right?
oh
And
yeah.
without those, you get it's so funny because we'll be on set and we'll be dying. Everyone will be sweaty messes, and the actors all look like they've just stepped out of. They
They've
don't
had a real
feel it.
glow up. They're just
Yeah,
doing
they don't
great. Yeah.
feel it because they're blotted. They're not actually cool, but
No,
yeah, it's
exactly.
we
Oh,
definitely are in need of that tonight.
I go through so many of those. Like every shoot I'm on, the makeup people are just like, would you like this fan? Like, please
Just hold
point
it
this
on your
mini
face.
fan at your face between shoots so I don't have to blot you again.
I
That's why I have an undercut under the back of my hair, like the back half of my head from like here down has just like underneath has there's just like very short because I have very curly hair, and in the summer if I get even a little bit sweaty the hair just starts going whoop and it's just gone. It's just like anything I try to do with this is just a nightmare. So it's just like let's just shave it off, which was pretty funny in quarantine when I couldn't get it cut. So I made Tim take like a head trimmer to it, and I was like, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you. Please don't fuck this up. And he just went, and he did really good. He did a really good job.
luckily it was not too warm at the start of quarantine.
That's very true.
It is only
Yeah.
recently decided to be summer.
Yeah, we get like the summers I found in Vancouver have been getting later and later, and like I'm not opposed to it because I love autumn. It is probably I'd say probably like a late autumn, early winter is my favorite season when it's like cold and crisp but
and
sunny
dry.
and
Yeah.
dry. Ooh, cold, crisp and sunny, so nice. So nice. But to be fair, I would rather have wet snow than dry cold like they do on the prairies because that would drive me nuts.
Yeah. I've done both, and I was just thinking about it today when I was driving, and I was looking up because I do a lot of trail running, and I was looking up at the mountains and it was hot and sunny, and I was thinking to myself, I really do prefer running in the wet. And I know most people hate it, but it's so much easier to be out there for a long time and be slightly
Yes.
damp and a comfortable temperature than be out there and be still damp because you're sweating, but now your eyes are burning from sweat and you're dying from heat. And yeah, I live in the perfect place because it's only like this for a little bit and it makes me appreciate it, and then it goes back to being cold and rainy.
I mean,
go ahead, Sean.
what's really nice about this time is t-shirt nights. Like if we weren't doing this, I'd be outside right now just walking around at night in a t-shirt. Like we get t-shirt nights for about 2 weeks here in Vancouver,
Just a delight.
and it's my favorite time. Like I hate it when it's the daytime, but at nighttime I love t-shirt nights.
Yes.
Get your favorite t-shirt, get your friends.
As someone with exceedingly sensitive skin, I think about the sun the wrong way, and I'm sunburnt. There has been a couple pictures that I've sent to our group chat lately where I have been both like, first one, I was in the shade wearing a hat and got a sunburn on my face because I was near the water and didn't put on sunscreen like an idiot.
You got reflected.
I did. And then on Saturday, I was in the shade wearing sunscreen on my face and still got sunburned. So I'm like,
You
I can't
forgot the
fucking win.
hat.
I can't, and I forgot the hat. And it's not
the
just like,
trifecta.
and it's the whole trifecta, and I just can't seem to get it right. And it's not like I'm wearing like
Wow.
SPF 15 or something on my face. I'm wearing like sunscreen that I would put on my toddler, like SPF 50. And Tim was like, you should probably wear higher sunscreen. I was like, it doesn't really go higher. This is for
Just go
babies.
straight
Like,
zinc.
Just like fully slather myself in
zinc.
zinc. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. It'd be a look for
Sean,
sure.
you would love the prairies, especially like slightly northern prairies in the summer. I know you pull that face.
I've
I was gonna
been
say
to
I
the
don't.
prairies and I did not care for it largely.
You're talking about t-shirt nights.
Oh,
The
okay.
wonderful
Hell
thing
yeah.
about the prairies t-shirt nights is, especially if you're slightly further north, it stays light until almost midnight. And it's not sunshine, but it's like dusk.
Yeah.
So it's light enough to be out. And it starts to get cool at the same time, and the wind dies down because the wind always blows during the day on the prairies. But by like 9:30 to 10, you got like 2 hours of dusk, and you got that perfect t-shirt, and you see all the like young kids come out. They skateboard around and like ride their bikes. Everyone else has gone to bed. It's summer nights on the prairies. Pretty great.
All right, you sold me on it.
Few things that are good about the prairies, but summer
t-shirt nights in the prairies.
Except for our wonderful fans, if any of them are watching from the prairies, you guys are the best thing on the prairies.
Exactly.
This is true.
Speaking I once spent 10 days in Winnipeg, and I felt like that was enough for a lifetime.
I spent 8 years in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and that was enough for plenty of lifetimes.
It isn't the prairies, but it does have like a very Canadian name. I think I spent about 5 days in Red Deer, Alberta once.
That's prairies. It's borderline prairies.
Was heinous.
You don't know prairie weather until you step outside in January and it is minus 42 degrees Celsius air temperature, and you inhale for the first time and you feel every nose hair in your nose crystallize as it instantly freezes. Like you instantly feel every nose hair crystallize. And then you get warnings like on the news will come up and be like, be aware, if your skin is exposed outside for more than 30 seconds, you will get frostbite. So you do this thing where you have command start on your car, so you can start your car from the house. So you hit a button and the car starts and warms up, and then you run to your car, you get in your car. The best part is Friday nights, girls and guys still want to go out and they don't want to check their coat. And they don't want to drive. So they take a cab to as close to the bar as they can. And they get out in their t-shirts and their small little dresses and their heels in the snow and the like minus 42. And they're booking it down the street.
What if you have to
get to the bar? They just stand and shiver. It's the penalty you have to pay to not coat check.
Jeez.
It is.
A coat check is $4 max. Like
not in Saskatchewan. That's where they make their money.
Oh,
they got you there.
Speaking of money, let's talk about the money hole.
We're doing a show.
Let's get there.
Roll that intro.
Okay, bye. Blap, blap. Bleedy-doo. I'm an opening. What are we talking about? We talk about sponsors first.
Sponsors, our sweet and wonderful sponsors. First off, big thanks to Legendcraft and Silverwing Armory.
Whoa, Yanis has a finger up.
No, I'm counting them with you.
Legendcraft.
Sorry.
Silverwing Armory. If you like things from either of those companies, please go check them out online and at their respective websites or on their respective Instagrams. You can use the code Blackwater at checkout for 10% off at Silverwing Armory and 5% off at Legendcraft. All of that goes back to these wonderful companies and also helps us support our show and fantastic Canadian companies. Speaking of prairies, Legendcraft is based out of Calgary, Alberta, and Silverwing Armory is based out of Muskoka, Ontario. So big shout outs to Canada. Yeah, Canada. As well, we're going to shout out to our fantastic dice goddess, Keisha from Fairy Dragon Dice. We have released this week Finnan's, Yana's, and Letters Dice, and we are just waiting up on Kokanee's to complete the set, and then we will see Tim's set, which is going to be an amalgamation of some of ours and some of his stuff. Very exciting. And on Wednesday, so 2 days from now on July 22nd, we are doing our monthly one shot, which is the Meet the Makers one shot. So we have Tiana, our fantastic artist, Ben from Legendcraft. We have Keisha from Fairy Dragon Dice, as well, joined by our very own Jen, playing all new characters set in a pre-Blackwater timeline campaign. It is in canon. So we're very excited for that one, based on some lore about a fantastic table that's kind of reminiscent of some of the stuff that Legendcraft makes. It's called the Mountain King's Bounty. So please come hang out with us and check it out and show your love for all of our wonderful makers. Go give them a follow on Instagram. Other than that, I don't think I have any other announcements. Oh, yes, I have one more. I know I said on Saturday that next Monday would be Tim coming to join us for our amazing chatwater, but he has a previous commitment that I did not know about. So Jen is going to come join us instead and talk all things Yana. So we're going to keep up with kind of the alternating lore topic, guest topic, and we're going to work our way through the rest of the cast. So very exciting. Lots of good things coming up.
So what is the lore topic this week then, Em, if I may be so bold?
You may. The lore topic this week is we're going to talk about, we're going to first talk about the money hole and all of that kind of good stuff. But after that, we're going to talk about a bunch of NPCs in the world, because we throw around a lot of names and you folks might not know who those people are. So we're going to talk about them. And I will admit, I am not as prepared as I normally am. It has been a busy week for me work-wise, so I haven't had a chance. So there will be likely lots of book flipping to make sure that I'm getting my shit right.
That's all right, Em. If ever there was an episode of Chatwater that I am innately prepared for, it's the NPCs.
This is true.
I may not know like proper nouns. I guess people count as proper nouns, but
Yes.
fucking NPCs. I know. If I can have a relationship with something, then I got it. Like
you have just like sprouted some of these people into existence, which is just
many
a delight.
of them.
Many
and
of
this
them.
is some little peek behind the curtain. One of the things that I've learned as a D&D player, especially since we started streaming, is to stop, whenever possible, I don't always succeed, creating NPCs and riffing with Tim, because as much fun as it is for us, it just becomes the Tim and Sean show. And this is a collective thing.
We're a collaborative group.
Tim and Sean have started doing that in their free time. Tim calls him, and they both play different characters.
I got this guy.
Well, here's the thing, and we haven't announced this online yet, and I know I shouldn't, but I'm gonna right now. Tim and I have a side project, which we think will be very lucrative, called D and Feet.
Oh no!
And I'm not gonna describe it any further. I'm just gonna leave you with that.
Well, that's Chatwater, everybody.
That's Chatwater. We're done.
All the NPCs that he and I come up with, we put into that. So it's a large ensemble cast.
We can never come back from that, Yanis. That's it. We can never come back from D&D.
No one knows what it is. That could be anything. What could D&D be?
Jeez.
Lucrative.
That's what it is. Yeah. So
not as lucrative as the money hole.
Not as lucrative as the money hole. I mean,
smooth.
So we should probably talk about that. And we've had a lot of people being like, there'll be a lot of pivoting. A lot of people be like, what is the big deal? Why are you all so excited and / nervous to go down the money hole? And why is this a big deal? And I think it really goes back to this bag of golding that we had early on in the campaign, and it is now like, I'm going to show you in my notes. It is literally, can we do it? The bad bag of golding.
Let me hop in,
please,
here
please hop in.
Because I'm not going to make up. I'm just going to say what I know.
Please, yes.
And my favorite retelling of this story is the party was running around doing party things. Who knows? And they got a bag of holding. And so that's what you're an adventuring party. You put all the stuff in the bag of holding. And then one time they're like paying somebody and they reached into the bag and all their money wasn't actually money. And like all their expensive things weren't in there and it was all taken. And my favorite part of the story was just like everyone was upset, but M in particularly was mad. Not like Neppy mad at the world, but M was mad at him. And I wasn't there, but apparently It was like palpable from across the room.
It's not a good item in D&D unless it puts your marriage at risk.
You know, there has been very few times that I have been like ever upset with a decision that Tim has made. Like, he's the DM. I trust him entirely, and also I just like trust him as a person. Otherwise, I wouldn't have married him. But that moment with that reveal, it was everything I could do to be like, Neppy is upset for this reason. Emma is over here and livid about this. I think it comes from the fact that like my very first D&D character that I played, Saren, was like, she was a rogue and like very much about the money, and just like she was kind of like a little bit Vexalia-esque about the money. She was the one who always did the wheeling and dealing and stuff like that. But Neppy doesn't give a shit about money. Like, Neppy doesn't give a shit about it. Neppy was upset because, well, I'll tell you why she was upset. So
Yeah.
you're not wrong, Sean. You're partly right.
Well, tell us the story, because I'm this time I'm so much more interested in what actually happened than my absurd ramblings. Give us the deets.
Okay, so we found this bag. Like, Neppy came into the party with a bag of holding. So she's always had a bag of holding. It is my personal favorite item, like non-big weapon item. I love a bag of holding. If ever asked at the beginning of a campaign, what would you like? First answer, always a bag of holding. Comes in so handy all the time. So
Always.
we were in, this was like session, let me look here in the notes. Yeah, session 4. So we hadn't played that many sessions, and we were in the town of Svel N. Yeah, and we had just come from Tor N and made our way over to Svel N, and we heard tales of like this kind of cult that had been there'd been some uprising in the city, and they were called the Rune Children, I think. And they were running around like doing magic that they shouldn't have been able to do, and we traced it back down to this basement where it was kind of like we traversed down this basement. All the walls were like sticky and slimy, and we went down at the basement, and there was a beholder in the basement named Zamluk the Charmer, and he had essentially been giving all of these random cultists power if they followed him, and there was like eye tattoos on hands, and you could like put your hand out and anything. In that fight, Neppy got petrified and turned to stone, and then they had to take her to a temple and get her unpetrified, and that's where they met Callie, all of that kind of stuff, and then the party went on their merry way. But in that basement, we found a bag of golding, and there was nothing in it.
Did you think it was a bag of holding at the time?
No, someone had cast Identify on it, I believe, and they had figured out it was a bag of golding.
And what's the difference between the two?
Great question. So a bag of holding will hold essentially anything up to a certain weight and size. But a bag of golding can only hold things that are like gold or gems, essentially, or like platinum, silver, copper, anything money that can be used as money, or
it's like a purse, essentially, like a money purse.
Yeah, think like a magical change purse. So immediately we just started putting our money in there, and the Neppy carries the party funds. So like, of course she does. So like, that's where all of the money went. And in that bag, we had about 1,500 gold, 15 platinum, and then also Neppy and Kogani had some relics that were gold of Arathis, which we found in Caradoc, which Kogani had taken. And then Neppy also had some relics of Nephthisiket that she had. So 600 gold pieces of relics from Arathis and 800 gold pieces of relics from Nephthisiket. Those went in the bag as well.
And at that point, I'm guessing that was a lot of money for the party at that level.
Yep. We were level
now we're throwing
5,
around
maybe.
Now we're throwing around a couple thousand here and there, like betting on games and stuff. But at that point, 1,500 would have been like,
that was everything. That was everything. Our entire party funds. So we put all of our party funds in the bag, because why not?
Why not? It's a bag for money.
And so after
what DM would mislead you so badly?
So after the Battle of Gatestone Keep, the first one where Torin died, we were kind of recouping at Kamea's house the morning after, and we were separating out some gold to give to someone, and Neppy put some gold on the table and was going to count it, and Kreger picked it up, and he's like, "This is pyrite. this is fool's gold. And Neppy was like, pardon me? She's like, he was like, oh yeah, this is pyrite. And he like bit it and he was like, yeah, this is pyrite. So Neppy frantically pulled everything out of the bag of golding and strew it across the whole table. And she was like, you need to look at these relics right now. And he was like, oh yeah, they're all pyrite.
So the relics came out matching, but made of pyrite.
Identical, like perfect replicas, but pyrite.
So either they were getting transformed.
Yes.
Or someone was taking them and replacing them.
Yes. So we were like, what the fuck? This is so bad. And we just like didn't know what to do. So we had no money, like no party money. We had some individual money, but no party money. And it was just like the gems in the bag were fine. That was the weird thing. The gems in the bag, we had 295 gold pieces worth of gems in that bag, and they were totally fine, utterly the same, but it was only like the gold and the platinum and the copper that were affected. They were all pyrite, or like some approximation of not what they were. So this was kind of like and a very much an uncertainty for a while. So we went to a magic
This is
shop.
when you were pissed.
This is when I was pissed. Yeah, when I found out about the bag of golding being taking our money and turning it into fool's gold and other thing. I was pissed.
So you lost everything.
We lost everything. Yeah.
How far into the session was that? I just really want to. Was that like at the end? It was like that's the cliff ledge, or was it early on?
20
so
minutes
just got
into the session.
Yeah, you just got to.
I stewed on it for like 3 hours.
Take us through the conversation that happened when everyone left the house. Was there like?
I don't even think there was one. I don't think there was one. Like,
it was a pretty quiet house after that.
Yeah.
Could hear a pin drop.
There was like Tim was like, "I love you," and you were like, "Mm-hmm."
Which is why, like, I'm just trying to think when. Let me just take a look here. That was, what date was that? That was the 23, I think. So Tim and I's little one was still quite young. She was just a year at that point. So there was a lot of, baby stuff happening. But yeah, no, that was April 29th, 2019. It is literally like, maybe probably 15, 20 minutes into the session. And I was just stewing about it for the rest of the session. And I think it was fine afterwards, but boy, was I mad. I was so mad. But that's okay. So we went to a magic shop, the Mystics, which is where we met Tova, the enchanter, who Letters brought flowers to. And she has essentially been like, oh yeah, these are bad. Like, I've seen those before. I've looked at a couple of them before. Leave this bag with me and I'll take a look at it and see what I can do. And we were just like, okay, great. Like, there's nothing, we took everything out of it that was important. And we were just like, do whatever you can with it. And so she had seen that a couple of them had been like working their way through Wolfar, and she'd seen a couple merchants with them and heard tales of them kind of coming from all over the place. Something that Tim let us know afterwards is that, like, we actually paid for things with gold from that bag, but every shopkeeper failed their perception check to figure out it was pyrite. Every one of them. He was like, I was so convinced that one of them would have succeeded and none of them did. So for so long we had this bag and we were just putting stuff in it. And then like we only figured it out when Kreger was just like, oh yeah, that's pyrite, which was wild. So this all ties into this guy named Erkin, who is the platinum guy.
I was going to ask. I wasn't sure if there was a connection already pre-made or whether or not, because he's the guy we saw in the one shot, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's been a couple hints of Erkin throughout the campaign so far. So we actually first met Erkin right after the first battle of the Gatestone Keep. Neppy went looking for a platinum ring. Kokanee went looking for a platinum ring for Neppy so that they could cast Warding Bond on each other, or that someone could have Warding Bond cast, because that's the spell component, is 2 platinum rings. And so he found this platinum shop where where this weird guy, Erkin, was buying platinum for way more than it was worth. So you would like give him a platinum and he'd give you like 15 gold. So he was giving almost like 1.5 times what it was worth. Tim would have to correct me on exactly how much it was, but he was definitely buying it for more than it was worth. And it wasn't necessarily just about, he just wanted the platinum, and he was like very, very hesitant to part with this platinum ring. So much so that Kokanee had to get another, he would only part with one, and Kokanee had to go get like another platinum ring made somewhere else. And so we ended up taking the bag to Tova and leaving it with her for a long ass time, like probably in game about a year. And she fiddled with it for about a year, and then eventually let us know. She's like, I think it's a gate. I think it's a portal that goes somewhere. She's like, when you're ready, I can open it, but it's a one-way travel. I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to come back. I don't know where you're coming out, but I can get you there. And we were like, great, okay. And then the world was ending and Velsum was off doing shit, so we had other shit to go do.
So what is the connection with Erkin?
Right. So Erkin was we have seen Erkin twice in history. Well, I have seen Erkin twice in history. Once was after the first battle of the Gatestone Keep was where we first met him, but he is also in the Adonis one shot, as you said, but he was also in the Adventures in Amonkhet, which was set literally pre-Dawn War.
Oh yeah.
So Erkin is like
super old,
2,375 years old at least. So, which is fucking insane. So we met him in a shop called Erkin's Antiques that seemed quite set up. Imagine like an Adonis shop. It was just full of kitsch and full of magical items. So Falcon and Sir Herbert, which were Sean and I, went into that shop, and that was where Falcon found the deck of many things. We also found like a potion of fire breathing in there. And then we realized that his shop could let us go upstairs where we needed to go to like plant the flag and go get the princess. And so Sir Herbert just paid him 30 platinum and was like, I'll just pay you 30 platinum. Like if I pay you 30 platinum, will you let us go upstairs? And he looked at Sir Herbert and like, I'm not shitting you. And he was like, for that, you can do whatever you want. And we were like, okay. And we had met Erkin, and so in my head I'm freaking out because I know who Erkin is, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why is this guy here? That's not good. And so when we saw him again, it was just like, oh my gosh, there's something very, very shady about this guy. And then cut to him when we get into the Adonis one shot, and he's standing in the square in Sigil near a platinum statue of a draconic figure that he referred to as Task, or the god of wealth, and that the Task was ready to ascend, and that Erkin had, was the herald of Task, and that all platinum increases Task's power. So I think even Finnan gave him a platinum piece or something like that. So I'm sitting there like losing my mind, being like, this is all bad. This is all bad. There is no good here. And Neppy, I think, went up to him and was like, this is what you got for the bag of golding. And she was really pissed off. She's like, I want my relics back. Give me my relics back. So people are like, why is this bad? Why is the money hole bad? Well, we knew about the money hole or the potential to go down into this bag of golding in game for 1.5 years. And we just didn't, because other things were happening for 1.5 years. So, and we've known about it in real life for about the same amount of time.
Let me hop in.
Yeah,
you ever
have
something in the back of the fridge?
Oh, yes.
That you should take
is a great
out?
Example.
So
and you're like, oh yeah, that should go. And then it just doesn't.
It's like an old jar of salsa that's just in the back of the fridge.
I was actually going to ask you guys this as a group at one point, and I just haven't gotten around to it, which is ironic. I've decided everyone's baking bread in quarantine. And I've decided that baking bread is the thing that I'm just not going to get to this quarantine. It's the thing that at the beginning I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then as the days went on, I was like, yeah, I'm still going to do that. And my wife kept being like, so are you going to bake us some bread? And I'm like, yeah, not today, but I will. And then I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? Baking bread is the thing I'm just going to keep saying I'm going to do this quarantine. And when we're all done, I'm going to be like, yeah, I never ended up baking any bread.
That's exactly how it is. Yeah. We've just been thinking about the money hole for so long, and just knowing that Tova was there with the bag. And anytime we would go see her, she's like, I can do this whenever you want. And we're just like, yeah. We got other things to do.
I might have missed it, but So what is the exact connect? Like, how did you guys draw the parallel between Urkin and the bag of golding?
It was the thing about platinum.
Okay, it was the fact
So
that you guys kept putting money in and it disappeared, and that he was after money. So you guys figured, okay, Urkin's probably behind this.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
the hunch. We don't know for sure.
Don't know for
We
sure.
don't
I
know
mean,
for
It's a
sure.
hunch.
It's pretty obvious because even I figured it out, and I've only been watching the last couple sessions, and I've been like, it's that Urkin guy.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
for sure. It's just all bad. And
Like
also something.
he probably gave Kokanee gold that he stole from you for that platinum.
Honestly, who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? Like,
Tim,
it's just
that
Tim knows. Tim
rat
knows.
bastard.
And that's the thing. It's like Tim and I obviously talk about Dungeons and Dragons a lot. And we talk about this campaign, I would say daily, at least, if not at least a couple times a day. But Tim has been excited about the potential for us going down the money hole for a very long period of time, which anytime Tim is excited, really, really excited about something, I'm like, ooh, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be a fun and amazing. But I think we are in for a dungeon delve. I think we're gonna be like a big old dungeon delve.
Especially because we just found out in a session before last that Adonis is taking over Urkin's new old shop because Urkin was very excited and leaving town.
And fucking just bamfed out, and he's just gone. And he like packed up his weird old platinum shop, and he's gone.
So he's got all the platinum he needs.
Exactly, which is why we needed to go down the money hole right away. And like we're like, well, that's.
But first,
good.
we're gonna have a God's Brawl, and then we'll go down the money hole.
I'm sure those 4 days won't make a difference.
It wasn't 4 days. It was a day and a half. It was a day and a half.
Can
you imagine 3 if you guys went in the money hole and you just
God's Brawl? Oh, actually, yeah.
You go into the money hole and you guys are just in Adonis's shop. Like it takes you right to where Urkin used to be, and you're like, shit, missed it.
No, I mean, like, I think it is. I mean, I've got some theories. I think I'm like I think I know. I don't know where we are on I think we're on Wolfar. I think we're still in Wolfar. I think I have a sense of where we are. I'm not sure if y'all want me to share it or not.
No. Don't say anything.
I'm not going to say anything, but I think I know where. I'll say it at the table. I think I know where we are, but no. That would be not knowledge that Neppy has. This is Emma's theories. This is fan theories. I have like knowledge that Neppy knows, and then Emma's fan theories. I think we're up north.
So do you think
we're in a mine?
Do you think this is a setup for like the next arc, or do you think this is just something that needs to be tied up, or do you think this is something Tim's been planning for so long? This is like from day one breadcrumbs.
I think there's a bit of all three of those things in there. I think this will end up being a longer dungeon delve for sure. And I love a dungeon delve. So much so that it will be like the money hole arc. But at the end of the day, it'll be like 2 or 3 days in campaign that we investigate this dungeon. But I think we're going to be here a while.
Here's my fan theory.
Do it.
As far as we know, the goal of Urkin is to create a god.
Yes.
And I guess maybe it's just something that I've been thinking of ever since we did that god fucking episode of Chatwater. But like the creation of a god seems like a very destabilizing thing.
Mm-hmm. Which Blackwater knows very well, considering we brought the Matron of Vengeance back.
Yeah.
Very destabilizing.
I imagine, I don't think this will be the next arc. I imagine this will be the inciting incident for the next arc. Like,
I don't think you're wrong.
Do you guys know anything about Task other than your brief interactions with Urkin?
Well, if Task if Urkin was referring to a draconic figure made of platinum
dragon.
I mean Bahamut aside, because if Bahamut is the platinum dragon, I don't know if it has ties to Bahamut, but like I think this is like a dragon.
Guys.
What, Sean?
Guys, so Task is a dragon god, right? So here's what's gonna happen.
Okay, tell me, Sean.
Here's what's gonna happen. So Tiamat exists and is alive, but somewhere else. They're in god jail. Fucking our paladin dragon Bahamut is out doing his thing and picking, unsatisfactory champions. Task gets brought onto the scene, causing trouble. We're gonna have to go to the fucking Orpheum and
Yeah.
like get our own dragon god to like fucking. There's gonna be a cold war of dragon gods, and we just gotta keep pace. Like
I think
it's gonna
I
be
don't know.
cosmic Pokemon.
Cosmic
it is.
dragon.
And
game.
I don't want to throw another thing in here because it might be completely irrelevant, but I find it very suspicious that Tim decided to reintroduce Dave
Oh,
right at this
Oh.
point.
Oh, can we talk about this?
Yeah, let's
Keep
talk
going,
about
Yanis.
Dave. Let's talk about Dave.
Because I
But,
know,
keep going with your fan theory.
because I know Dave was Adam's previous
patron.
patron,
Finn's
but
first patron, yes.
we don't know much about who he is
No.
or what he is.
We know a little bit about what Dave is. So Dave, originally, Finnan, like Adam obviously built the Finnan as a warlock. So Adam's knowledge aside, Finnan thought he was like this paladin, this warrior, that he was like given this divine gift from Pelor and was going to kind of go forth in Pelor's name, the Dawn Father's name, etc., etc., until he starts like actually learning and getting a sense of these powers, and he starts hearing this like ominous like voice in his head who like blinds him the second he gets even close. Like he prayed with Kokanee over where Torin died, because like Finnan hadn't been to see where Torin died, and we're like, you want to be Torin so bad, well, let's take you to see where Torin died. This is what happens to heroes. So like it was a tense time
Tough
in
love.
it was a tense time in Blackwater. But he prayed with Kokanee, and Dave blinded him for like a day and just took his sight and was like, nope, and was like, you don't get to. And Finnan didn't tell anybody, and it like took. And then I think he was in the temple of Nephthisicat as well, in Temple Caracal in Wolfreen, and like also almost started like losing his vision too. So Dave is pretty wrathful. We think he's like an archangel of something of Pelor, but his name is not Dave. Finnan just started referring to him as Dave. He would refer to himself as his will. So we're assuming the will of Pelor, whatever the fuck that means, whoever the fuck Dave thinks he is. And then Dave was pretty awful to Finnan, gave him some pretty cool powers, but there was definitely a cost with those. And so when Finnan discovered the staff of Relauven in the bottom of a pool in the Underdark below Barmwich, which chatWater will get there, he decided to like eschew Dave and abjure Dave and start following Relauven. But as a cost, Dave took his sight and blinded him completely. So Dave sucks. But Dave is also the one now who powers Cato Halskani.
And
go ahead.
let's
Sean.
hop in here.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Finnan who said Cato is Dark Finnan, and I love this so much. I want like mirror matches. I want dark spooky pants.
Ooh.
Like I want what would that even be?
Is Dark
like,
Spooky Pants not a necromancer?
I think it's just a worse necromancer, like a bad
no,
necromancer.
It's Umbridge. It's fucking like Professor
Oh,
Umbridge from Harry Potter.
yeah.
Like it's fucking like pink necromancer. It's like
Ooh.
Lovely Pants who will like bring back your relatives and make them fabulous. Like you got okay. Look, we'll get the other
necromancer
things.
Is just like the worst.
That gives me
So
the
we've got
heebie-jeebies.
douchebag Finn. We've got Cato. We've got Lovely Pants. What is Dark Neppy? Oh, some fucking matron of vengeance priestess.
Yeah.
Who's like, oh, my fucking matron vengeance is awesome, and like is like super fucking maternal about it.
But Dark Kokanee is just his dad.
Yeah,
we know what Dark.
Okay, hear me out. Like
Kokanee has a brother.
No.
We don't know.
What is Kokanee? Kokanee is a guy with two shirts.
Yes.
Who's like doesn't like to talk a lot but has to.
And is doing everything in the world to make himself a better man.
What if Dark Kokanee? Okay, here's what Dark Kokanee is.
Kay.
It's like It's like a fucking Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. It's like some like kind of like socially awkward dude put in a lot of power who just uses like day-to-day stuff to just make the world worse in like really mundane ways.
Oh, yeah.
And also has a gun and a sword.
Like counter Elon Musk.
Oh. Oh,
Or just regular Elon Musk, depending on your political.
Callie. I feel like Dark Callie is like a paladin of a god that just hates nature and wants to burn it all to the ground, and would be like very anti-nature, she like, we always joke
still
in
has
Blackwater,
a lovely relationship with her wife.
still has a lovely relationship
Dark
with her wife.
Callie is a power couple with like wait. Doomwing.
Oh, Syndrel Doomwing.
Dark Callie is Syndrel Doomwing's wife.
Ooh,
Syndrel
yeah.
Doomwing 100% has a paladin wife who's like the captain of her guard and is like bad.
Or are you talking like the high priestess of
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Coria Doomwing. Syndrel was her daughter. Sorry. Yes.
Whatever. One of them.
Yeah. No, agreed. Agreed.
Point is, high priestess of like the evil fire elemental. Like, yes. That is.
Yes.
And her fucking captain of the fucking guard.
And who
Dark
is
Callie.
Dark Letters?
Numbers. We haven't introduced Numbers yet.
We have not. I think that has to save that for the table. I don't think we can talk about that on chatWater.
Is Numbers a real person?
We'll find out at the table.
You'll just have to see.
Oh, I'm waiting with bated breath. I hope he's at the other end of the money hole.
All I will say is that there was a time where Sean couldn't make it to session.
Wait, no. You say nothing.
Okay. I won't say anything. I promise.
Either we dive fully into Numbers because I love numbers.
I love numbers too.
Or we just let it play out.
I think we just need to let it play out. Yeah.
We can do it. We'll do a chatWater once he's shown himself, and we can go back. And
I feel like if we see Numbers before Letters, like AMA, like when it's Sean's session where we just ask him question about Letters, then we can talk about Letters. Or sorry, about Numbers.
So back to the money hole. So you guys are delving into the money hole. Yeah. You guys are already delved into the money hole.
We're into it.
So couple things. Firstly, you guys are going for answers. You don't know what's in there.
No.
You don't know where you're going.
No.
Second thing, you don't know how you're getting out.
Classic Blackwater.
Luckily,
plane shift. We can probably get out with plane shift.
Okay, so do you think you guys are on the same plane?
Yes.
Okay, so
Emma thinks so. I don't know if Neppy thinks so.
It's not like a pocket dimension.
I mean, I don't know.
We don't know.
All right, so you guys, because if it's not a pocket dimension, you guys, well, I guess you can.
We can plane shift out of anywhere. Yeah.
The way we test it is we just try to send to somebody we know.
Yes.
We're gonna have to kill this eyeball thing or make friends with it. We don't know if it's an enemy.
What's an eyeball? What eyeball thing?
That thing made of eyes that's like standing.
Oh yes.
Which I know it's called the Great, but this seems pretty bad.
Hey.
But
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Letters is funny.
Yeah, I save it all for him. He gets all the gold.
You only used one of the amazing Nepthisicate smack talk that I sent you.
He was only on the same plane for
That's so true.
I'm gonna pull the curtain back again.
Yes.
Letters again did not expect people to go down quite so quickly.
Yes.
He thought that was going to be a more protracted battle. And then the way he was fighting, he had not earned the right to say any of the cool shit you wrote for him. Maybe if he wouldn't have dropped that fucking fire shield and would have just gotten into the mix. But even when he did dive in, it was like, oh, I missed everybody and then punch my friend in the back of the head. After we'd made a deal to have a one-on-one battle, I can't be like, fuck yeah, like you've made a grave mistake.
There were some good ones. There were some really good ones.
But
I mean, you're still the
Letters
champion.
has them forever.
You're still the champion of Nepthisicate if you choose to take it again next year.
Can I just pick fights with people in the name of Nepthisicate?
No.
Why not? I have
because Neppy will be upset with you.
Sean, I'm going to say yes, you can. You have my explicit permission.
You just get to deal with Neppy at that point.
What if somebody is blaspheming against Nepthisicate? Then as Nepthisicat's champion, surely it would be my duty to stomp him.
I feel like if somebody's blaspheming against Nepthisicate, they're going to have a whole lot worse coming to them than whatever you're going to give them when they
I
die.
feel like that's underselling my capabilities.
Yeah, letters is going to send them to Nepthisicate sooner for
Right.
judgment.
Yeah.
Right. That was like that time when we were in Barmwich, Chatwater, we'll get there, where
Eat
Neppy
that
was
heretic.
where threatened essentially the two guards with like eternal purgatory if they didn't tell her what was going on. And they were like, really? And then I think Letters timed in, he's like, you don't want to mess with her. Do you know who her god is? That was the one moment Neppy was bad cop. The one moment Neppy's like,
Oh, I remember Bad Cop Neppy.
bad cop Neppy. Yeah. So yeah, that's the money hole. We're in it now.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. I love a dungeon delve. They're my favorite. They're so good.
I'm willing to bet there's going to be some fucking thing that prevents us from leaving this dungeon.
Until it's all done.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some fucking thing.
Can't
if we
plane
can
shift out or...
Yeah, because if we can just bamf out, then we can bamf out, come back in. I think we're fucking in it.
I will say Neppy's not leaving until she gets her relics of Nepthisicate back.
Well, let's see how bad it gets before you make statements like that.
Yeah.
They're kind of important relics to her. She doesn't
You
give a
have
shit about money.
done just fine for the last year and a bit without them.
I know, but that was the essence of like, we're going to get them at some point. But I don't know. Emma's curious. I want to get to the bottom of this thing. I need to know what's at the bottom of the money hole. I need to know.
You know what's at the bottom of the money hole? Our fucking steam golem.
Oh yes. All we need is enough money to get that steam
capital,
golem. Yes.
baby.
And this is like, it's so interesting too, because, you know, like a lot of parties would have more money than we have at this level. Like we're still kind of D&D poor. We don't have a lot of money. What is
guys, we have the metal dragon. We have the metal golem. Can we fucking Megazord them? Like, can we talk to Nissa and like fucking the dragon's doing its thing, the steam golem's doing its thing, and when we need the most, the fucking dragon like slots into the back of the steam golem, the wings come out, and now it can breathe like oily fire. Like,
I mean, in our party is the high priest of the goddess of technology. I think if anybody can do it, it's us.
Yeah, but you forget that your high priest of technology is not really well suited to technology.
I never forget that. I love it.
You gotta give him a bit of faith. Arathis has been quite handy.
We know Gimbal. We know Gimbal.
Gimbal, yeah, and Lex and
Arathis loves him, but he ain't so good at Arathis stuff. Like, I'm just saying.
I feel like I gotta stand up for Matt for Kokanee.
Where did we put that dragon? Is it still just buried?
Yeah. We gotta get it back. We gotta get it back when we get out of the money hole, you guys.
You guys need to be better with your toys.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. It's just not very interesting to do housekeeping in D&D.
Put him on the roof.
We get together once a week for 2. Yeah, put him on the roof with Dresda Trading Company. Way ahead of you.
No, Blackwater Inn.
No.
Blackwater Bar and Grill.
We've gotta repair it. I think before it can get anywhere, I think it has to be repaired.
Dresda Trading Company.
You guys should just give it to command to protect the city.
I mean, it's technically a relic of Arathis, though.
So we should put it with the Dresda Trading Company to protect our corporate assets.
Or you could have some of the acolytes from the. I don't know. That's up to Matt.
I don't like protect the corporate assets. Protect our corporate assets.
Should we talk about some NPCs?
Yes.
So we throw around a bunch of names all the time of a bunch of NPCs, and people are like, who is this person? Who is this person? So I thought it might be a good idea to delve a little bit into their histories. Something that Tim actually does quite well with NPCs, which I mean, it does so many things well, is inventing them on the spot or having like actual like lists and a whole bunch of different people for us to meet, is they're not just like people with one thing about them. They often have like quite full lives and backstories, which is really cool. And these are not villains. These are not villainous people. These are often people we've come across who have either been really friendly to us or neutral to us. And we'll chat villains when we start going into story arcs about like some of the people the baddies we've faced across the story arcs. But we should chat about who they are, when we first met them, and their relationship to the party now. And we have a giant list of them. So I think Yanis should just pick folks off the list at
I have
random.
one. I don't actually know if it's on the list or not.
Yeah.
Roll for it.
But you mentioned it tonight.
Ooh, Ooh.
And I forget her name.
Yeah.
But the one
Tova?
who Tova with the money
yeah.
hole, and who you gave the flowers to. There's obviously some sort of history there.
Yeah.
I'd like to know a little bit about Tova, Sean, if you would.
Let me talk a little
Yeah.
about Tova. Let me
Talk
tell you a little about Tova.
Tova.
So there are two enchanters that our party finagles with. One one likes me and doesn't like Yana, and one likes Yana and doesn't like me. So Minlin Shortbottom, I'm gonna answer your NPC question with another
I
NPC.
love that, Sean.
Minlin Shortbottom is the enchanter who lives in Tinyland, which is called officially
Barmwich.
Shortsville.
I knew that. Yes.
Barmwich. And so I can't remember why, but she just took an immediate liking to letters. She kind of has like Adonis vibes. I remember her wearing like quite a velvety robe, and it was very kind of laissez-faire. And I think Yana was too like type A for her. Versus, and that's really all you need to know about Minlin Shortbottom. She's a cool enchanter.
We went to Minlin's shop because Neppy needed some ivory and for a spell, so we went to her magic shop.
We want to buy some stuff. She's all right. We like her.
Yeah. But she hated Spooky's pants. She was like, "Get those things out of my shop.
Wait
right
outside,
now.
Please.
Wait outside. Go outside right now."
She wasn't wrong.
Yeah, they were bad. Bad pants. Pants.
Now,
Tova, great, but
on the other hand, we went to go talk to her because I don't fucking remember. I think maybe I think we needed to buy. We were doing some wizard stuff together, and we were getting some, fucking spells, and we were like, oh, we got to go talk to the local enchanter. And so we went to go talk to Tova, and I think Letters was and Yana was just being her lovely self and be like, we love magic. And Tova was like, I also like magic. I'm very like Ravenclaw, not that personable, like, I'm kind of shy.
Bit of a Ravenclaw energy for sure. Yeah.
Oh, hard Ravenclaw energy. And I think Letters is just kind of being kind of flirty and was like, oh, I meant to bring you flowers, but instead I brought you 50 feet of rope because I felt that was more professional. He was just having a fun time. And I think Tim asked me to roll persuasion, and I rolled about a 4.
That was not a good roll for you. I remember that one.
Tanked it. And so she was very put off by Letters' cavalier attitude towards.
I think she asked you to leave.
She may have in
so that we would do business
in a very polite way.
To use your Harry Potter reference, she was very Lily Potter, and you were very James Potter early on in your relationship.
I think that's correct. However, Letters loves magic, and so like Letters like Sailor Moon armor, like when he does Tensor's transformation and goes full firebrand, that armor was enchanted by Tova. She's like the best.
No, it wasn't.
Who the fuck enchanted it then? Minlin?
Yes.
That's why I get these two confused. No, it must have been Tova.
No, it wasn't. It says literally in the notes right here, it was enchanted by Minlin.
Boo earns. All right.
Yeah.
Woofty.
I was just looking at that. We went to, I told you there was going to be a lot of note flipping this evening because I'm not as prepared as I was.
I always get these two confused because they're two enchanters, but.
Two enchanters, yeah. So we went there to go. We went because you wanted to talk to someone about summoning armor.
Yes.
And she said, leave it with me and come back in a week, which we did. You bounced back and got it.
Wait, no, this can't be possible.
Yeah, you said check in with her in a week, and I literally have it written right there in the notes.
Wait, no. Because I got the armor from Jayla, the half-orc armorist based out of Wolfreen.
Maybe you started to do it. Maybe you're you know what? Actually, you're correct.
Why would I take the armor from Wolfreen to Barmwich
That's a
before
really Letters move, though.
I got teleport? Look, no one was there. Let's retcon it, because my relationship with Tova is much richer than my relationship with Minlin.
So Minlin clocked Kokanee's holy symbol, and Spooky asked Minlin to take a quick look at her pants, and she used her magical understanding to take a look at Spooky's pants, and she said, I would not keep those pants anywhere near any living creature. Necromancy is not something to be trifled with, and those pants are a conduit of magic, is what she said about them. And Neppy bought a lot of ivory, a lot of diamonds and a lot of incense from her. So that's what we ended up buying from Midland Shortbottom.
And so you're saying at this interaction,
you talked to Minlin about summoning armor, and she said, I can do it. Check back in with me in a week. So whether you actually got the armor from her or you got it from Tova, I would have to look way further in the notes.
Here's what I'm pitching. I think she said it was possible, but
Right.
I needed to score the armor first.
Right.
And
so that's
you
when
can't
you got
just
it from
get armor
Jayla.
willy-nilly. Now, Jayla also had a flirty interaction, but as is canon, Letters is only sexually attracted to Minotaur and some Furbolgs. So like, you know, he likes a good flirt. He'll flirt with anybody.
So Tova is a,
I don't know.
I think she's an elf.
Okay, rad.
Yeah.
I know she's not a Minotaur. That's
Minlin
the way Letters sees the world.
And Jayla, if we're going to talk about Jayla is an half orc, and she's an armorer. In Wolfreen. She's very talented, one of probably the best. She made Neppy's white dragon armor. Kokanee has a shield that Neppy got made for him of white dragon scale. So he has a white dragon scale shield. He probably doesn't use it much now. I don't remember, but it's a cold resistant shield. And I think she made Letters' Tensor's armor.
And so the relationship with Tova has, since that first interaction where Letters did not make a good first impression, Letters doesn't mind holding a grudge, but he hates having a bad impression for someone he didn't mean to make a bad impression. So in the ensuing 3 interactions of going and getting the armor enchanted, and commissioning the ring of return of Don't Look at Me through scrying,
yes,
and then just recently it's just been him trying to
impress Tova.
Well, just, you know, getting the good books. And we haven't really had time to explore because this last session we had to mosey on to the money hole because we were running out of time in real world. Yes. So I just had to be here are these flowers, but we said we'd have a hard out at 10:30 and it's 10:45. A little peek behind the curtain. So we haven't really gotten a chance to explore the state of things with dear old Tova and Letters.
Maybe because we did say that we were going to go report back to her when we were done. So maybe we'll go and check in with her and you can bring her more flowers or bring her something from inside the money hole.
Maybe. We don't know. We don't know what Letters' plans for Tova are.
Yes.
Not even Sean.
We do know it's not to have sex with her because that is not who he's sexually attracted
to. Not yet.
Not. Speaking of who Letters is sexually attracted to.
I'm just saying Letters can grow as a person. I'm just saying Letters can change. I think he's capable of growth.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Yanis. Do you ever see yourself in your life just wanting to have sex with a chimp, even if you really, really wanted to?
I can't answer this question.
Yes, you can. Sean. Think about it. I think you could grow as a person. Could you imagine a situation in your life given 6 decades to grow and develop where you're
Sean,
a chimpanzee? Yes, please.
Because the thing is, interracial relationships in D&D occur on the regular. That's Kokanee is with a tiefling.
Yes.
It happens
Neppy's
regularly.
With a human. There is another way that goes too.
Yes, Neppy's with a human. It is an established thing in that world. All I'm saying is...
Fun fact, there's a whole handbook about interspecies relationships and all things sexy in D&D. There is a handbook out there. It's quite the read.
I'll just say this.
All I'm saying is
Letters is an utters guy.
He might discover...
Some guys are haunch guys. Some guys are utters guys. Letters is an utters guy.
All I'm saying is he might discover that who she is as a person is enough to make him physically attracted to her as well.
We're just going to have to see.
Don't rule it out. I'm just saying, don't rule it out.
Here's the thing. We've never said anything. Letters is not romantically attracted to non-Minotaurs. But like I said, he's an utters guy. And this is the thing we haven't talked about, but canonically, Minotaur in Tim's world have utters. And thus, Minotaur fashion needs to accommodate for that.
But where?
On the belly, where utters usually are.
So do they have belly brassieres?
Yes.
There is so much to unpack, and we don't have time. We
That's
don't
what
have
this
time
show
for
is
this,
for.
Sean.
I've been
No,
thinking
we're
about this
doing
shit.
NPCs tonight, not your weird Minotaur creations.
We'll talk about it when we get to letters A and
I
A.
know. I don't ever want to talk about this.
Then we'll
Em.
never talk
I
about it ever again.
canonically never want to speak about this again.
I'll commit to never talking about it if you commit to never talking about it. We'll make
I
this
feel like
live on air right now.
saying this right now, though. Sean is gonna bring it up at every occasion.
I'm just saying it is canon that, like, he had the whole song. He
Listen,
did have
there's
the
not-
song
You
about
did have a
Busty
song.
Betty's udders.
You did have a
Look,
song about Busty
look,
Betty.
There is
I'm
not
willing
many
to
things
move.
I
I'm
get
willing to
upset
yield
with
an
Tim
inch.
about. There's not many things I get upset with Tim about, but him allowing this is too far. Tim,
Yanis,
Tim,
where
this
would
is
you
too
like
far.
the others to be? Where would you like the others to be?
I
They don't
don't-
have to be at the
I
bottom.
I do
They
not
can
want
be
to
at the
have
top.
this. I don't want to have this
Goddess.
discussion.
The udders have to be there. The udders have to be there. They
We're
are
gonna get
mammals.
through
They have
3
live
NPCs.
births. They have fur and they have milk. Like, minotaurs are mammals. So your choice, Yanis, is they can either have like person like mammaries, which, you know, sure, because they do have like person tops. But I've been leaning hard into like more cowish shit. So that means they probably got udders, and you get to decide where they want to be. How far up the
He's
sternum?
not like that logic. That logic clocks, dude.
It
I'm
does,
sorry.
but like it brings up so many questions about.
But like we
how
also,
do you, when you dress,
Yanis, you don't have to ask them. There are
When you
questions, but you
dress-
don't have to
No,
ask
but
them.
I need
Yanis,
to know,
follow
when
me
you-
down the udder hole.
when you-
come
Please,
down the udder
we
hole.
have
with
to talk
me.
about NPCs.
when you dress.
This is
when
our
you-
show, Em. We can talk about what we want. Come down the other hole. with
When
me.
No.
you dress letters,
Fuck.
Yeah.
is it inappropriate for him to not be wearing a shirt? Like when he doesn't wear a shirt, does he have nipples where a normal person would have nipples, or does he also have nipples on his belly?
That is a good question. I don't know if male cows do have nipples.
They must. Everyone has nipples.
Oh, well then, yeah, he's got belly nipples, 100%. But we haven't established where his nipples are because he's all covered in fur.
But
Yanis,
he wears a shirt, right?
He wears a vest. He's not a big fan of sleeves. He has been known to be shirtless. He spends a lot of time at the beach. But Yanis, this is the thing. You're so uncomfortable with like the belly brassiere. I'm giving you the power. Where do you want the udders to be?
We're never gonna get there.
I want it to be.
We're never gonna
I
get
want
there.
it to be like a straight up human, like equivalent.
I know that's what you want. You can't have that. Because like human equivalent is like 2 things. You just get 1 with like 4.
Oh no, I didn't even think that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't even think that.
I mean,
It's a single cup brassiere.
the further we go down, the worse it gets, Yanis. The
That's
further
our
we go
show,
down,
guys. Thank you for joining us tonight.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
just
cry
take
in the
all
corner.
my notes and throw them out. Gosh.
I feel
So-
like I need Lennon here to be outraged with me because I feel like she would be just as outraged as I am.
She may be in the chat being outraged right now. I hope somebody in the chat is outraged.
Look,
Someone needs to be outraged with me.
I think
let's
it's
move
important
on.
that we accept. Look,
we
we're
will-
body
we
positive
will-
in D&D.
we are
I
body
am
positive.
I am body
Udders
positive.
are beautiful.
I am
Udders-
just,
All
Brassieres.
bodies are good bodies.
you are just challenging my preconceived notions of what a minotaur body is. And
Let me ask you
I
this,
need
though.
a second to get on the same page.
Female dragonborn.
Oh God, no! We're not doing this. We're not
Okay,
going through
okay, I'll
every
back off.
race because
just
it's too. Because I don't even know what dragon's anatomy is. Like Minotaur, I have a point of reference.
As someone who's played a Dragonborn, I've looked into it. But let's keep going down
What
the
do you
gosh
mean you
darn
looked
I
list.
know.
into it?
Well, this is what I'm talking about.
What
I'm
did
not
you
going down this
Google
hole
to
with
They
look
have
you.
into
dragon
that?
tits. They have dragon tits.
I've-
I don't get why.
What
Where?
did you
gone-
Google to look into that?
I don't want to talk
And
about it.
whose
Let's
opinion
go.
did you trust?
A
like,
lot of
no one is
people
a-
who've played D&D. Let's go down the list,
No
Yanis.
one is
Go
an
down the
academic
gosh darn
source
list.
on dragon anatomy.
Go down the list, Yanis. Please.
Do reptiles
wor-
even breastfeed?
No, they don't. That's their whole thing. They lay eggs. Why do
Oh,
dragonborn have
gosh.
tits? Why do dragonborn have tits? If you take off a dragonborn's top, do they have nipples or is it just
Okay.
like protrusions?
Okay. Can
'Cause
we
why
get
would they
back
have
on?
nipples?
Can we get back on the list of talking
Also,
about NPCs?
if they lay eggs, cloacas. Like, you just have to accept that that's the business going on down there.
Should we get back on the actual topic of NPCs
I'm
today?
pro
I don't have enough-
cloaca.
I don't think I have enough
Like, I'll
alcohol
take.
in this office for this episode tonight.
So tell us about
Oh
Duomo,
boy.
or I don't know. one of
Okay,
your-
so we got to go back. So Tova is an enchantress who did your
Yes.
armor that
we
we've
got
retconned.
Tova. We got
We've,
Tova.
so we've
Tova,
talked
okay.
about
Give
Midland
me the next
Shortbottom. We've talked about Tova, who
We've talked
is
about
the,
Erkin sort of indirectly.
we've talked about Erkin, and we've talked about Jayla, the armorer from Wolfreen. And there is the myriad of the rest of the list that at
I
this
feel like
for the record,
Adonis is pretty well
Jayla-
covered.
Wait, let me just say this. Jayla and Tad, the manager of the Blackwater Bar and Grill, did go on a date once. We haven't really found out how that went, but there was a little flirtation there. That is the most important thing that I keep track of with NPCs is who's been flirty with who.
who's been flirting with who.
Just know that we haven't been able to dive into Tad much because, we got more important things. I love Tad, but he's got a, maybe, we haven't checked. He maybe has a thing.
Tad was working at a bar in
Mhm.
Croden's Cross, and we just all took a liking to Tad because he kept serving us, I think it was free drinks, or we just kept talking to him and he just kept pouring heavier drinks than we were paying for. And then he was letters convinced him to come work at the Blackwater Bar and Grill and be the manager. He was like, "You've got no upward motility here. You're going to be a bar back or a bartender here for the rest of your life. Come be a manager." And Tad was
Also, his boss, Sophias, total douchebag.
Mm.
Total
I
stick in the because I wanted Tad to come join the drum circle. Sophias wouldn't let him. So
No.
I just hired him. I was like, what do you get paid here? Fucking you work for me now.
I love
First job, drum
I love
circle.
that you talk to him about his like career aspirations. Like you have no vertical movement.
You
Mhm.
know,
Like he's just
there is something to be said of the fact that we always joke that Callie can't leave anyone anywhere. I don't think Letters can leave anyone anywhere. There are certain types of NPCs that Letters sees and he's just like, "No, it's you. I'm gonna always check in on you and always make sure that you are someone who has got stuff going on, or at least you're working for me or something."
Letters keeps, track of people. The important thing is he lets them live their life. Like
This is true.
like Callie doesn't leave people behind because she like bonds with them and is like, now I'm responsible for you. Letters is like, I see your value. You work for me now. you work for me now.
Very different.
I am
Not really.
I just
Pretty similar.
I just received a text from Lennon.
And what does it say?
She agrees with Sean, and I've never been so
Are you hurt?
I'm questioning
We're never gonna let this go.
I'm questioning how I think of her as a person, because I felt like for sure she would be as outraged as I was. And the fact that I read that so wrong brings so many things into question. So
I mean, if we think about it.
No. I'm not
No.
thinking
We're
about
done.
it anymore.
We're done. We are done. We are
And
moving forward.
I'm just saying, anyone who's interested in fashion, that throws a whole what do you do with that? Because you build around it.
We are moving forward with the NPC list. My goodness.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the people who work at the Blackwater.
I'm going to create an NPC who is a minotaur fashion designer, and we will have to dig into this at the table.
You know what I want to
become canon.
Sean, you need to spend some time with Lennon, or not with Lennon. Sorry, you need to spend some time with Tiana, and you need to come back with some art of what minotaur fashion looks like.
I don't want to be responsible for that. I'm willing to make it exist, but I don't want to plan that.
Oh gosh.
So let's talk about the Blackwater
power.
Let's talk about the Blackwater Bar and Grill employees. So we've covered.
It's just Tad.
Well, and the Petch, correct? The Petch work at the bar.
They're owners.
They're owners.
Okay,
of the bar.
but they still work there.
Yes.
So Tad is the bartender who you poached
from the bar in Croden's Cross.
From
this
the bar
dive bar in Croden's Cross. I think we've talked about the Petch too, and how
we have discussed the Petch,
Yes,
and we've
yes.
discussed Adonis
quite often. Yes.
quite often. I'm trying to think who else. We've discussed Nissa.
Yes, Nissa. We
And
met.
We've touched on Kamea.
Tell us about Volketh, because he had a big thing
Oh, Volketh.
at the
At the table on Saturday.
Like that was a big thing where we were like, oh no, Volkith is doing a thing. And I imagine people watching at home would be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Volkith.
That's a pretty evil sounding name.
Yeah, so we've talked about, I mean, we've talked a bit about Kamea, but we haven't talked a lot about, there's more about her that we could talk about, so we can circle back to Kamea.
Then yeah, let's
but
get into Kamea.
but I think, I mean, Volketh was mentioned last session, and it was kind of big, and I was losing my shit about that. Because I'd been meaning to scry on Volketh for a while, because that's something I do every now and again, or Neppy does, because she thinks Volketh is rude, and she wants to see what he's doing because she's curious about what he's up to, because she thinks he's not a great person. So we were in was Svel N and Letters. We were in Adonis's shop, and when you're in Adonis's shop, you just kind of roll, and then we just see what we find. You go digging and you see what you find. And Letters found a ring of mind shielding, and then when he was, investigating the ring, he found out that there was some sentience to it, and he started. Go ahead, Sean.
Can I hop in here? So,
Please.
A mechanic of the ring of mind shielding, which is so juicy, is that if you die whilst wearing the ring of mind shielding, your entity, your essence, goes into the ring itself. And so that's really fun. And so when I was wearing it, I was like, oh, like I fucking knew about the ring. So I looked into it. I was like, is this an absent
Empty?
ring? Can I hermit crab into this, or is this taken? And there was an individual inside the ring who only spoke Undercommon,
Yes.
but was able to identify themselves as Volketh. But Letters doesn't speak Undercommon. Volketh doesn't speak Common. So,
said he didn't speak Common at the time.
We'll reveal it page by page. Because importantly, when Volketh left at the end of the session, he went doot doot. And so Letters understands that the great communicator is music. And so when he was like, hey, can you say stuff? And he's like, Undercommon, we're like, we're not communicating. Letters went, wait, no, that's not it. What was it?
No, that was it. And then he went, do, and you were like, hey! Yeah. You were communicating. And
oh no, what was it? Do. Yeah, that was it. Because it was like a sort of call and response. And so based off of that, we were able to come up with a.
And I think you two developed kind of like a yes and no system based on like how you tried to figure things out over a while. And so we went, and you found that in Adonis's shop, and then you had it for a little while, I think, and
fair while, yeah,
a fair while, and then we were in the Underdark below Barmwich for reasons we will discuss later. Chatwater will get there, and we come across Meat Prison. We come across this like laboratory, and in it is a tank containing what looked like a drow man in suspended animation of some kind. Neppy took a look and didn't see, like, it didn't seem like he was dead, but it didn't seem like he was living either. And Letters got close to it, and Volketh was like, dude, and he was like, really like, be like, that's me in there. So we broke the tank open, and Letters essentially touched put the ring on Volketh. He came to and popped out and was gone. Like, no thank you, no nothing, just fucking left. And I was just like, Neppy was like, that's very rude. Letters saved your life. He took time to get to know you and took time to, do this for you. And you at least owe him a thank you. And so she's scryed on him a couple times. She's cast sending to him a couple times. I think Letters has cast sending to him a couple times, trying to check in about some information. And
he told us about the ring of fucking non-detection.
Yes, he did. And there was a time, I think Neppy scryed on him during the 6 months break that we had, and she cast sending to Volketh. Yeah, and he was like in a tomb somewhere, or like in a desert somewhere, like descending into an underground cave. And that's where we saw him last. And then I haven't scryed on him lately. And so when, we were going through this little time jump, Tim was like, well, what are some of the things you want to do? And I was like, obviously I'm going to scry on Volketh. And Tim was like, okay. He's like, let's try and find a time for you to do that. So when Neppy scryed on Volketh this time, she saw him in this kind of snowy expanse, and at the mouth of the cave, and there was like this 15-foot kind of indent, and he's sitting at the mouth of this cave, and he's just holding a piece of sericite, and then he sees her and goes, doot, doot. And the reason that was wild for me, it was just because it's like, we've never been sure what Volketh's deal is. Like, we don't know really who he is. We really know nothing about him other than he's a drow. And the drow have links to sericite, like in this campaign, in the lore of the Illyrians and Relauvin's people. Relauvin's I think father was the first drow. So there's so much that ties the drow to the Illyrians, and the drow will have like some connection to sericite. So I think Volketh's going after sericite. I think he's going after the staff of Relauvin, and I think Finnan has or Adam has a sense of where that is, because Finnan just remembers the phrase Gar Yang. He just remembers that snow and Gar Yang, I think. So Volketh, that sucks, and we're gonna probably have to fight Volketh at some point, and he's very powerful.
Maybe. I think we're pretty tight friends. Letters and Volketh go way back. We're pretty close. So like he's living his best,
Yeah.
When we see him, it'll be good to see him again, just like hang out like old times.
Yeah, 100%.
Communicate through that, universal language of song.
Well, I've learned Undercommon since then, so we can just chat like old friends.
And he actually speaks Common. He sure speaks Common, and just played dumb the whole time, so that Letters would just
he just likes music.
So could he always hear what was being said?
No, like Letters would have to kind of talk to him. At least we think so.
Okay, so he didn't just like eavesdrop and learn everything about you guys for the entire time that he was with you.
We don't know.
I think he probably did. But also we don't know how long he was in that ring for. We don't know how long his body was there for.
Yeah.
So maybe he just forgot how to talk and just loved music.
I mean, maybe. These are all big maybes. But he's going
Letters
after
has
some
a real
sericite.
soft spot for Volketh. Like,
I feel like Neppy and Letters are probably going to have a conversation about Volketh at some point. Because like at that moment when we were walking over to the money hole, I was like, I could tell Finnan about this now. It's not the right time, because he's going to want to go.
10:40, and
it was also late, and I was like, we got to go to the money hole.
That's going to be a whole scene.
That was going to be a whole scene, but they'll have a conversation about it at some point. So that's Volketh.
And do you think the money hole is connected to Volketh in any way?
No, I don't think so. No.
And except in that Volketh is somewhere snowy, and M seems to think that we're somewhere north.
Yeah.
That's why I was curious, if you were in a mine up north and he's at the door of a mine up north.
I think Volketh's on a different continent. I think he's like way, way far north on a different continent.
So do you think that because we saw it with the Critical Role campaign, their second major arc took them intercontinental.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that'll happen with our Blackwater D&D folk now that they're plane traveling, I don't want to say demigods, but starting to become like
super powerful?
Do you think we're going to start seeing them explore continents that we haven't visited, or do you think they're very much we stay close to home?
I mean, we've already been on a different continent. Like the Amonkhet Peninsula is on the continent of Katona. So that's another continent that we've been to. But yeah, I think we're going to go to Gar Yang maybe at some point, and maybe go to a couple different continents.
We have to go to the Fire Island.
Cinderfall?
Yeah, so we can meet Dart Pally and her wife.
Yeah. So Cinderfall is technically part of Wolfar. So those are part of the same continent. They're just, it's an island. Yeah. It's an island off the
Big
coast
island.
of Big Island. Yeah, Big Island off the coast of Wolfar, and then Clore. You can't see it. Clore is also considered part of Wolfar.
Oh, so that map behind you is just one continent.
Yes.
I thought that was the whole world.
No,
Whoopsies.
that is
Whoopsies.
just the continent of Wolfar.
Okay.
Yeah, the
great.
world is much bigger than that. Yeah, Katona, for reference, is like if Wolfrine is here, this is like the southern tip of Wolfrine. This is Cinderfall. Katona's like down here off camera over there. And then Katona is the largest continent of all of them. And like Karos, the place where Minotaur are from, is in the south. And we have only been in the north of Katona. So I think we might go. I think we'll definitely explore more of Wolfar. We might venture across Katona some more. I don't know. But I think campaign 2, when we get to it eventually, far off in the wild blue yonder, will be set on a different continent as well.
Do you think Letters will want to venture to the land of Minotaur?
Cross that page when we come to it.
Well,
Cool.
I mean, it's the only way he's going to find true love. I mean, that's all I'm saying. But
I feel like we've got a whole fucking city that he's got his fingers pretty deep into. That like there's like a lot of people there. Wolfrine, but also Dresda.
Dresda,
like,
yeah.
He's got
The
enough
new
exes
hub.
in Dresda. Jeez.
They're not necessarily exes.
Ooh.
Okay,
That's
more
some
names,
hot tea.
more NPCs. Pick another one.
Sean, do you have one you want to discuss?
Pretty much all. Well, yes, actually, I do. I was going to be gracious and extend it to I don't know when it ends, but there's 2 that I need to talk about. They haven't come up
Please.
yet, but they are my favorite. So it's real simple. In Wolfrine, whilst planning for the street party post what is Callie's
wedding?
Kamea's like big party, because what would that be? The reception, the like street party reception. Letters made a point of it to like make it a big thing, and so he wanted it catered, and he said, you know what we need? Taco truck. So he found a gentleman who has his own like taco, not truck, but like cart that he wheels around and supplies tacos. And his name is Jerome. And this is a textbook example of me and Tim riffing and just bring these people into existence on a session that was jam-packed already and did not have time for this little side quest. But like we're talking to Jerome and Jerome's like, yeah, just like don't fucking like, yeah, it's just you and me. I'm like, yeah, just you and me. And then there's another vendor who makes ice cream sandwiches whose name is Sayla. And Sayla and Jerome do not like each other. They both agreed to do the function provided that the other one wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But Letters wasn't going to let them stop him because they're the best ice cream sandwiches and the best tacos in the city. And
if anyone knows who the best tacos and the best ice cream sandwiches in the city are, you know it's Letters. Like, you know that. And
I believe it was none other than Callie. Who was the one to be like, got a taco from Jerome and brought it over to Sayla and was like, hey, this is a taco from Jerome. He thought you might need one because like, I can't even remember what she said.
No. What she did was she took a taco, she went over to Sayla, she dumped out the fillings, and she put an ice cream sandwich in a taco. And then was like, you have to talk about this. So leave it to the newly, Queen's consort.
No, married.
They were married at that point.
Yeah.
Calliope Sky Singer to matchmake literally right after her wedding. Like,
so last time we checked on Jerome and Sayla, it's been a minute since then.
It's been some time. Well, it's been like just over a month and a half.
Okay, so they were on speaking terms.
Yes.
So we haven't had time to really check up on our like
on our pals
entrepreneurs, but in terms of like Letters' priorities, it was like establish the city of Dresda and a home for my people. Check in on Sayla and Jerome, see where that's at.
Yeah, high priorities with NPCs. The Sean Deppner story.
I need to know because like maybe they're trying to make it work. Maybe it's like contentious. Like Like, are they like, oh, we love each other, but we hate each
I
other?
got a real star-crossed lovers Romeo and Juliet
They're
vibe.
definitely
That's
from
what I
opposite
was getting.
sides of the culinary
Yes,
tracks.
100%.
She's sweet, he's savory, but
Yeah.
their personalities are separate. She's the savory personality, and he's the sweet one. Like,
Yes,
guys,
it was a delight.
it's the romance.
It was a
for the
delight to
ages.
just watch. It was just, I think with that was that was pre the wedding, wasn't it? You were getting everything set up, and we had the like rehearsal dinner, and you were busy talking to them the night before. Yeah, that's what was happening. And meanwhile, I'm sitting there like so nervous to like deliver this wedding ceremony that I'd written for Lennon and for Kelly and Kamea, and then just watching Sean being like, okay, are we gonna even get to this wedding tonight?
Well, for the record, I was just like, I'm just trying to like, Letters is trying to make it nice for people.
100%.
And then Tim was like, no, we need to role play it. I was like,
work
okay.
through this.
But initially I was just like, yeah, I just want like a taco truck and an ice cream thing. Like, that's what we need. And it was
and then Tim was like, Tim yes-anded you, and it was just gone. It was lovely. It was just
and at
a
that
delight.
point, we have to do it.
You have to do it.
Yeah. So Jerome and Selah are the most important people in the world, in my opinion.
Their love is very important. It's a big one.
Maybe. We don't know. They could
be
together. We don't know.
We got to go check on them when we get out of the money hole. We got to go check on them.
Maybe they'll be in the money hole. We don't know. Love takes to crazy places, if there is indeed love. Also, just before we go, I guess we should also talk about Duomo, because he was manning the drum circle.
We got a bit of time. There's some more NPCs. Let's talk about. Tell me about Duomo.
Oh wait, no. I took the last ones. Duomo's not that important. He's a dude who plays the drums.
I mean, he was in the last episode.
Okay. Okay, let me tell you about Duomo. So it was canon that Letters loves drum circles. They are a part of Scar culture. And coming out to Wolfreen for the first time, he was heading down to the beach with Finnan, and there was a drum circle on the beach, and he was like, these are my people.
Yes.
And the sort of arbiter of the drum circles, or no, he runs the drum store, and I needed a drum for the drum circles. No, because they didn't have drum circles in Wolfreen. I don't fucking know. I needed a drum. I went to the drum store, proprieted by none other than Duomo, who is a dude who just has white guy dreads for days, and I believe like sheepskin pants.
Yeah. And like been at the beach too long, tanned leathery skin. There's like some puka shell necklaces and beads going on. It's a lot of energy, and loves a drum circle. Much gloom moss was had those evenings down at the beach.
So this is very much based on local experiences.
It's like Wreck Beach. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Or the drum circles at Third Beach.
Oh yeah. Local references.
That's really all you need to know about Duomo. But
it's a good time.
Duomo pops up a lot when you're in Wolfreen. Everybody kind of knows Duomo, and everybody kind of likes Duomo.
Yeah, I know he probably would be universally liked. Yeah.
I don't see anything to dislike about him, to be honest.
No.
He's just kind of a spacey dude. Those are all my NPCs, I think.
Yep. Those are all your NPCs. Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The ones either you created or are live like.
Those are all the ones that belong to you.
They're like in Letters orbit, I would say. Yes. Actually, there is one more that was kind of in Letters orbit, but he was in all of our orbits. But we'll get there.
Who's that?
Bayhorn.
Bayhorn?
Yeah. The Furbolg. The Furbolg you fought in Hartsvale.
Oh, yeah, the Canuck.
Yeah, so we were in this small little town called Hartsvale, which is right outside Barmwich. We stopped there on our way to Barmwich after kind of popping out in the Crinewood after a whole nother chatwater. We'll get there. So we get to Hartsvale, and everyone speaks stereotypical what you think.
Fuck, bud.
Oh, fuck yeah, bud.
Come on over. Bud. Yeah, fucking where do you guys come from?
You gonna come here and fight us, bud? And so Letters challenged Bayhorn to a fight, like a one-on-one throwdown, and Bayhorn knocked him out. Cleaned your clock, dude.
Well, for the record, I think it wasn't so much a formal challenge. It was Letters wasn't that impressed with Bayhorn, and Bayhorn picked up on that. It's just like fucking tarps off. And like as soon as someone says tarps off, you got to go tarps off. So they went tarps off. And in just a straight up fisticuffs battle,
Yeah.
the wizard versus a barbarian with tavern brawler.
Yes.
Lost, obviously.
Who would have thought?
Cleaned your clock. And we were all just sitting there being like, really? Gee, you have to fight? And Letter's like, I have to fight. And we were like, okay. And then the whole town of Hartsvale basically came around and just watched the fight. And then we all shared moonshine afterwards. And then the people of Hartsvale gave us some lovely hospitality and sent us on our way.
We were endeared to them. It's
might as well call the
ambassadorship.
Might as well have called it Letterkenny if they're all talking like that.
Honestly,
not far
pretty
off.
Much not far off.
Letters, Benny, Bayhorn. Fuck it. I don't know.
We probably have time for a couple more.
Yeah. What are some M ones?
I mean, like I put together the list. I think Yana should pick one off the list, and we can see what you know about it.
Let me take a look at the list.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think there are two that we should talk about because they were actually they used to be PCs, so player characters who originally started playing the campaign with us, but then left just due to scheduling and kind of the party moving forward, and they couldn't, keep going. There are two characters, a Alder Hilltop and Arveldis Gigantor. Have you ever heard of those people?
Never heard these names. They don't exist to me. Let me tell you about them. Alder Treetop
Hilltop
is no. No, you go ahead. You tell if these are people's actual creations.
These are people's actual characters. Okay. So I want to send a big shout out to Emily and Dave, who have given me gracious permission to speak about their wonderful characters and have them included in the official Blackwater lore history. So Alder Hilltop is a halfling druid, Circle of the Moon. Alder started out with the party in the beginning, but was called to the Feywild in session 8 and had to leave the party at that point. And that was kind of when Emily and Dave made their exit. Alder was originally from Alderwood, if I remember correctly, and made her way to the town of Tor En, where the party first met on the festival for Ethereal's renewal. She was accompanied by her drinking buddy and sideshow companion, Arveldis Gigantor, who was a high elf wild magic sorcerer who grew up in Fawe Tavar. And Arveldis has a penchant for sideshow magic and performing illusions and spectacles, and so was contracted to play at the Ethereal's renewal festival in Tor En, which is where the party first met. Alder, you like literally could find a bar anywhere, outdrink you regardless of her size, and favored wild shaping into a bear, pretty dry and sarcastic, and loves a good celebration. And then Arveldis was a bit haughty, not humble in the slightest, but really quite a kind heart, and flaunts his talent wherever he goes. So those were Arveldis and Alder, and we came across them again. Actually, you were there when we came across them again. Do you remember?
Nah.
No? Okay.
I don't remember either of these people. They don't exist to me.
Okay, so this was session 43. So they had been captured. They got called to the Feywild to go what we found out was try and help deal with the kind of corruption that was leaching through from Baron von Kron, Callie's nemesis, essentially. And they had been captured while they were there. So we freed them and they were on this like chunk of the Feywild that the Baron had stolen and was piloting through hell with this like Hellfire engine. So Kokanee and Callie essentially dismantled the Hellfire engine, almost died because Neppy was out of healing magic and couldn't bring any of them back. And Alder saved Callie's life so that she could heal Kokanee because Neppy could not. And so when they went back through the Alderdawn gate, and we don't know where they went. We walked through the gate with them, and then we never saw them again. So I have much hope that Alder and Arveldis are out there doing good things in the world.
Now, there's an NPC that I know of.
Yes.
That gets talked about a lot. I'm not sure if he's in our world, but there is that Triton who's like that surfer dude who hates his dad.
Kanan Michelangelo?
Kanan Michelangelo. Does he exist in our world?
Yes. Kanan is a PC, is Tim's character. so Tim, Matt ran a pirate campaign for myself and Jen and Adam and Tim, while there was something that was happening where we couldn't play main campaign. I think, Sean, this was just before you joined us. And Tim created this character named Kanan Michelangelo, who's a Triton druid. And I am not going to say any more about Kanan because you just all have to experience him.
Does he exist
I hope so.
for us?
I hope so.
Okay, we don't know.
My fingers are crossed because when we were in Neppy's, when we were on the Adonis one shot, when you met Seish, the ranger with the long bow, big white braided hair, Seish is from the same kind of campaignish area that Kanan's from. So if Seish is real, so is Kanan. So
okay,
I have hope that
we haven't met him yet at the table.
No.
We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll be in the money hole.
But gosh, he's a delight. He's one of Tim doesn't get to play very often because he's mostly DMing. But Chubbs, Don't Ask, and Kanan Michelangelo are two of his PCs that are exceedingly close to my heart. I love Kanan with a fiery passion because of many reasons, but we'll get there when we get there.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so that's Alder and Arveldis.
What about Kern Burnman?
Oh,
yeah, what's this guy's deal?
Bless Kern Burnman. I think Kern Burnman is my favorite NPC. You can almost confidently say that Kern Burnman is one of my favorite NPCs. He's up there in probably my top 5. So when we were in the town of Torren, the very first session, we met Dern Burnman, who was captain of the guard and sworn to protect the mayor of Torren, who had been murdered. So Dern wasn't doing his job. But then Dern died. It was devastating. Dern got killed by some werewolves. Chatwater will get there. And we essentially had to go and report what had happened to King Evard in Svel-En. So when we get to Svel-En, we learn that Dern Burnman has a twin brother named Kern Burnman, who is a high-ranking soldier in Svel-En. So that is Kern Burnman. And so Kern, we didn't see Kern for a really long time after Svel-En, and then we saw him again in Fawe Tavar when we were leaving following we left Fawe Tavar. We were sneaking Nissa out of the city, and we had seen him in the city. He was there on an emissary, envoy from Svel-En with Mira, the King Evard's daughter, the princess, I suppose, Mira N, and Zakis. Zakis of Siral, the evil head of the Agents of Chaos, or that's how I term them anyway. So there was a teleportation circle set up from Fawe Tavar to Svel-En. Zakis messed up the teleportation circle, essentially didn't send them back to Svel-En, but sent them to the Earth Elemental Plane and essentially abandoned them there. It was like, you're going to just go die or whatever. And then one of the Agents of Chaos, Syndral Doomwing, disguised herself as Mira and murdered Queen Thealia in Wolfreen. So bad news bears all around. But then we went to the Earth Elemental Plane to rescue Kern and Mira. We had to fight in a pit fight because Kern was essentially a gladiator in the pit. This was where we met Letters for just after this was, I think, where we met Letters for the first time. And Kern had been fighting for 3 weeks because we hadn't been able to go get him for 3 weeks. And he lost an arm for us, essentially, because we needed to go get him and didn't. So Kern lost an arm. So the second we got him back, Neppy committed to the second I can, and we have a moment, I'm going to heal Kern, or at least offer to heal Kern's arm. So we did. And that was something that was really important to me to do, because Neppy felt a sense of this is something I have to do. You sacrificed for us, so this will literally take nothing for me. I can very easily grow your arm back. And so she did. And that's Kern Burnman. And I adore him because he's surly and has a wife and so many children. And I think he's one of my favorite NPCs because I think he's been around for so long too. So I've seen him for a long time. You don't remember anything else about Kern Burnman, Sean?
No. Kern was kind of before my time.
That's true.
I've heard a lot of people. Well, now I'm trying to remember like beloved NPCs that I just like go along with because everyone's like, oh, it's Schmops. And it's like, oh,
Well,
we
that's
love
how you were
Schmops.
with Jar for a long time, right? And we've talked about Jar's story.
Yeah, Jar is independently lovable though.
Yes, this is true.
Like Jar's a little girl who likes to set things on fire. Like, and like we can harness that power and embolden it, which is great. But I'm just thinking of people we forgot, like maybe other important people out there.
Did you know that we have a housekeeper?
No.
We do.
Otherwise, I would have poached them. Who keeps our house?
Her name is Orly. She is our housekeeper, and we have never had an interaction with her because we obviously don't interact with our staff.
You don't interact with your staff. What is she, a turtle? Does she play a bagpipe? Does she have a speech impediment? No,
I think
different Orly.
She's human. Orally, Aurlie.
Orally? Like you're gonna take this pill orally?
No. In any case,
it sounds like that's how it's said though, because
that's how it's said.
Okay.
It's not orally, it's orally.
Okay, so I will take this pill orally.
Go ahead, yes.
Should I take this pill orally? Yes, my lord. Oh, thank you.
So she's our housekeeper. We hired her the second we got the house, and we have never spoken to her ever.
Wait, whoa. What was the vetting process like? How many housekeepers
apparently
did you talk to?
I think it was like I was going through my notes. I was like, oh yeah, we have a housekeeper that apparently we all vetted. We didn't role play it through because I think it was coming to the end of the session that night, and I was like, but we're gonna do a housekeeper, and Tim's like, okay, you vet a process, and her name is this, and we were like, great.
We need to talk to Orly. I have a list of people who work for me right now. It's pretty sparse. Actually, no, it just got bigger. Well, they're co-owners. That doesn't quite count.
We also have 2 more people who work for us at the house.
Who?
Yeah. So we have a guard.
Why do we need a guard?
We have it when we're not there.
Because you're not there.
We're not there a lot.
Okay, what's his fucking name?
His name is Cotis Brundell.
Cotis Brundle. Okay.
Yeah. So
and what does Cotis Brundle do? Like, have we talked to this guy? We ever met him?
I think it was in the same vetting process.
All right, we're gonna have to talk to fucking Brundis.
And then Jar also has a governess.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes, her name is Resia.
I feel like that's more of a Kamea like thing.
Yeah, it's not directly in Letters' purview.
No, not necessarily, but Orly and Cotis probably more in your
Cotis Brundle.
Yes, our guard. So
I'm gonna have to fight this guy to know what he's about. Like, I'm gonna have to try to break into my own home and see if he stops me.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
Next session, we'll put the money hole on hold.
Yeah, we'll just cut to a scene.
Letters needs to fight
our guard.
See, here's what it's gonna be. Letters disguise itself to look like a regular street burglar, because I assume Brundle at least knows me by sight.
Yeah,
because then you probably had off-screen interactions.
I'm sure. No. I would hope.
No.
Well, I mean,
Neppy
was the one who was primarily spearheading the like hiring and most interactions with them.
So Letters, probably with Yana, because I think she'd be into this. We're going to try to break into our own home with non-magical means.
Right.
And see what Brundle does to stop us.
So it's a heist. It's a heist film.
Yeah.
And canonically not the first heist that Letters and Yana have been involved in.
Ooh, that is worth mentioning. There is a con man called Latour, who I got my disguise self-spell from, who really wanted... he was like, you're gonna have to heist something for me. 2 wizards looking for new spells, and we're like, sure, what do you need? He's like, you need an earring from Kamea. They're like, yeah, we can do this heist. And we're like, hey Kamea, can we have an earring? She's like, yeah, you're my friends, that's fine. And we're like, hey Latour, your heist is bullshit. But the
crazy thing
Give us the
spell. They just gave him the earring with no question of what he was going to do with it. There was no insight check to see if he was lying about it. I'm just like, I was not in this interaction spinning here. I'm like, oh my God, you're giving them one of her personal possessions? People can do bad shit with people's personal possessions.
But we got disguise self, so now we can vet Brundle.
Yeah. So it all works out.
We told her what we were doing. We were like, hey, we met this guy. He's a self-described con man. He needs one of your earrings so we can get magic.
So someone should probably check on Latour.
Someone should probably check on Latour. Neppy can't scry on him because she's never met him. So
All right. He's a good friend of mine. It's probably fine.
I'm sure you could cast sending to him and figure out what's going on.
So another name
I should
I've
get
heard.
Latour to try to break into our home.
Yes.
And see what Brundle does to
Yes.
stop him.
Might kill him.
That's 2 birds, 1 stone.
If Brundle can kill Latour, then that's fine.
And then Latour's out of the picture.
Problem.
Yeah, I mean, I see the logic in that for sure. For
I mean,
sure.
there are some magical wards placed on the home by yours truly.
Yes.
So it's not an easy home to break into necessarily, but a professional comment like Latour could probably put Brundle up for his money. We just have one guy. What does he do all day? What does he do when we're there? Does he have a little like?
He sees his family
stairs?
for like one day you guys are home.
They have quarters in the other tower that Spooky's not in.
I didn't know we had towers. Wow.
We have
Spooky gets a whole tower?
She has a whole tower. Yeah.
That seems unfair.
I have a map of the Blackwater Keep.
I've never seen this.
God.
You've been holding out on us, then.
I have a home and a very intricate
scale.
map in my mind of the gravel pit, but
I drew the gravel pit too based on your specifications. I'll put it on Instagram.
Yeah, why isn't this on Instagram? This seems like great content.
I drew it to scale.
Look, I'm very excited about it.
Good, you should be. It was a beautiful drawing. Sorry, Yanis, you were saying there's another name that was
the other name that I've heard a bunch of times but don't know much about is Soren.
Soren Brightwing. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Soren Brightwing?
No. Wait, maybe. No, I'm thinking of Bix.
Bix is a delight.
Bix is a delight. Who's Soren Brightwing?
Also a Dragonborn, though. You're right.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Also, I think, because Bix is a copper Dragonborn. I think Soren is also either copper or bronze. So Soren Brightwing, we actually met quite early in the campaign. So we found her in a bar in Fawe Tavar, looking quite sad and alone, sitting in the corner. So obviously we had to go talk to her. And she was attempting to get initiated into the Thexan Academy in Fawe Tavar, which is the magical school, and it's pretty snooty and hoity-toity. You either have to be a wood elf to get in, or you need to have recommendation from somebody to get in. And she was given like a missive to you have to go prove yourself and go investigate the Mother's Eye lighthouse up north, which is where Caradoc was, and her entire party got killed by a bunch of Remerays. And so she was the only one to make it back. And she was just like, if I investigate up there, I'll get in. And we were just like, oh, you're very kind. Well, we'll go take a look up there, and we'll just say you can report back with what it is, and we can say that you did it. And then you can get into the academy. So we went up to Caradoc. Obviously, we fought a bunch of Remerays. And then we went back to Fawe Tavar eventually and couldn't find her. So we ran into her again in Caradoc. Yes, in Caradoc, I believe. So she was there as when Velsum had attacked the Gatestone Keep and taken Kokoni's heart. We had to go to Arathis to get his heart, get him figured out. So Arathis sent us to Caradoc because we needed Cogman. So Cogman was the first Warforged that she had ever created. And so we had to go get him because in his chest was the key, the seal. So she was going to put that in Kokoni's chest. We had to go get it. Soren Brightwing was actually there, essentially helping refugees, a whole bunch of people who had been kind of downtrodden in society in Fawe Tavar left to go start anew in Caradoc. So I'm pretty sure that's where she is right now. Soren Brightwing in Caradoc, doing good things up there, following Arathis.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, Soren Brightwing.
Hell yeah, Soren Brightwing, go get it.
Hell yeah, go on.
We did meet her. Yeah, now it comes back to me.
Yeah.
She was kind of overshadowed by Cogman, who we should probably also talk about.
Cogman, yeah.
I mean, he's not going to be relevant anymore because he doesn't exist.
I mean, he's kind of a pretty important figure in a lot of the early lore.
He was dead the whole time, right?
No, we killed him. We killed him so we could bring our friend back.
We didn't kill him. Arathis essentially took the... Okay, well, in any case, Cogman. So we went up to Caradoc.
We captured him. We went to a place to take him so we could transplant his heart into our dead friend.
We rescued him and he gave up his heart willingly.
That sounds like murder to me.
He gave it. So the very first time we met Cogman, we were in Caradoc, and we went down into the basement of this ruined temple. This was after we had killed the dragon and awoken Tauren and all that kind of stuff. So we go down into the base of this temple, and we meet this like automaton that looks quite rudimentary, and he's kind of coming around, and we speak with him, and he says, "Oh, you must be here to see the high priestess." So we meet Lillian Turark, who was the high priestess of Arathis, who was like a couple thousand years old and essentially being kept alive by divine magic, and Cogman's feeding her and caring for her. And so she, gave Kokani his holy symbol, and we were bid by Arathis to go find her, and essentially left Cogman there because he said, "No, we said, "Will you come with us?" And he said, "No, I'm going to stay and tend to everything here." And we said, "Okay." So we left, and the high priestess died in front of us, and then Kokani was called to be high priest and all that kind of stuff. And then fast forward to when we were in Caradoc again, Arathis, when Kokani's heart was ripped out, she's like, "I need something to put in its place," and she's like, "You need to find Cogman and you need to bring him to me." So she transported us to Caradoc, where we had to fight through the city, a bunch of demons, a demon lord. It was Bad News Bears, and we broke, because Cogman was essentially holed up in the armory with Soren Brightwing and a couple, one or two other folks. So we broke them out of the armory, and then fought our way back through the city. The Kokani, the heart was, and then Cogman, so we got into the temple, and there was a rift to where the ice plane was. Cogman, a couple of folks watched as he walked through, and then we don't really know what happened because Kokani was not alive at that point or in stasis. And then when he woke up, Cogman was not alive anymore because the heart that was in Cogman, the key, the seal, was now in Kokani's chest, and that's where it is still.
So what did you tell him when you were getting him? Like, hey, we need to take you to the temple so that we can take your heart out. And
no,
we told him about
this
really great farm upstate that we thought he would really like, and there'd be a lot of other like robots that he could also hang out with.
We didn't know what Arathis was going to do with him. Like, we had no idea. Arathis just said, "I need Cogman. If you like to bring Kokani back, I need Cogman." So we said, that Arathis sent us here. She sent us to get you, and she needs you. Kokani's dead, and she needs you. And he said, "Okay, absolutely." And so he went willingly and gave his life so that Kokani could live.
Total G.
Yeah, right? The first Warforged. The very first Warforged that Arathis ever made. So cool, Cogman.
Yeah, we've gone over my entire, I've got little sticky notes of the various NPCs because I'm bad with names. And this I just have for play. And we've gone over all of them. Like, because all my Scar NPCs were introduced like to the as much as we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know we're coming to the end of our thing tonight, but I'm just going to list off some names, and then we'll just talk about these people. We'll just have to do another NPC episode at some point.
Wait, there's more?
Oh, there's tons more.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Okay, lightning round. You name them and I'll drop them.
Well, I mean, there's a big list. There's
lightning round. Let's go.
Kamea Skysinger.
Oh, Callie's wife. We know that. Move on.
Rudan and Galea Skysinger.
Her dad and mom.
Yep. Cassian Skysinger.
Cousin. We also met him. He's a big fighty boy.
Uncle. Mara.
Skysinger?
Nope.
Mara is a weaver and runs the farmers market.
No.
Next one.
No.
Yep.
Lex Ashvale.
Oh, Lex. Boom. A former PC of Kokani. Works at one of the temples. Has a dog named Spritz. Is an artificer. Big fan. Moving on.
Her steel defender is named Otto. Yes, yep. But we'll talk about her more.
Metal
we
dog.
Talked about Cogman. Neva Ironside.
Oh yeah. Kamea's the bodyguard. Big, toughy, big.
Yes. She's actually not huge. She's smaller than Kamea.
Big power. Big power.
Big energy.
Big presence.
Big presence. Yeah. Terran.
I can just make StarCraft jokes. Terran? You tell me Terran.
Nope. He's going to be for the next episode. Hedgehog.
Okay. What? Who? Hedgehog. Okay. Hedgehog is actually an echidna that we
Nope.
met.
Nope.
Yes, he is. And Spooky Cass fucking talk with animals. And
No, we're
they had-
lightning rounding. Next one, Zelix.
Oh yeah, Zelix. He's a squid boy who hates other squid boys.
Mind
He's
flayer
somewhere
who
on the
hates other
astral
mind
plane.
flayers.
He's
Yep.
he is the dark Volcath.
He's Dark
Like-
Volcath. Chi.
Oh yeah. We know Chi. Chi is the bird person that runs the temple of bird.
Akadi, but we don't
always
know.
lets
You
us
don't
stay
know her
there.
backstory because that happened before your
yes,
time.
we do. She runs the temple. It's fine.
Verti.
Verdi is the sister of Horizonte, and is a Warforged paladin.
Also, shout out because Chi and Verti are both were PCs that Tim's mom has played with
Verdi
us.
the turtle.
Yes, Verti the turtle.
Verdi the turtle is a river. She has a boat and she pushes things. She's a turtle.
We'll
She's a
talk.
delight.
Horlin and Corriman Sandbuck.
Oh, I know these guys. Horlin and Corlin. Oh yeah, they are a pair of fucking halfling like guerrilla fighters. Well, now they're probably just straight up fighters in the Glitter Guard out in Barmwich.
Yeah.
And when everyone was controlled by squid people, we'll get there. One was working for the squid people, and one was fighting against the squid people, and we were able to save them, and now they're working together. Father and son.
We'll get there. Yes. Hector Turnbuckle.
Hector Turnbuckle, love this guy. You've never seen somebody buckle like he does. He's a pirate.
No.
Or at least navally engaged.
Okay, moving on. Andaz Silmac and his brother Torin Silmac.
And how many fucking Torins are there? There's
Exactly.
Torin. Anders Silmic and his brother Torin Silmic are a pair of strongmen who go from town to town.
Nope.
And
nope.
they say
Moving
we can
on.
no. They say we can bend anything you give us. And if they can't bend it, then you get your money back.
Okay. Falric.
Falric is has like burn sides and a mustache, but no chin in the middle, and it doesn't connect. Next one.
That's it. That's as much as he is as a person.
I mean, maybe. Ecterius.
That's a made-up word.
It's not.
They're all made-up words, Sean.
Who's Ecterius? What?
All right, next time. Cordelia Shade.
Wait, I know Ecterius. Ecterius is a bookish centaur.
Nope.
Who, yes, he is. Who has big glasses, which are hard. Which he's always like, "Oh, don't break my glasses. I live in the woods. They're hard to replace."
So far from what is true. Cordelia Shade.
Cordelia Shade is a rogue / romance novelist.
Nope.
Yes, she is. Who
Pelpum.
Calpum?
Pelpum. Who's
Pelpum?
Pelpum?
I barely know him. Next one.
And that is my list. So there are.
Oh, we got him.
We got it.
Them all.
Don't need another NPC show.
That's not true. These people all have wonderful stories, and we're going to talk about the rest of
Yeah,
them
and
another
Sean
time.
covered them all pretty in depth.
I like Faldrick the best.
I mean, I think you're like mostly correct on Falric, but he's got more about him than just his mustache. So, chatwater, we almost got there. We won't do this episode next week. We'll do it later down the line.
Now, here's what
about these people.
Because this shows a lot of like give and take, and we like to interact with our audience. So between now and next session, what we want to know is, because we have these people that we haven't talked about. So what we want from you is to reach out on Instagram, Twitter, wherever, in the comments. And where do you think the Minotaur's udders should be in canon? Sort of like just below the neck, or like down a little closer to the waist?
That's our show. I think that's our show. I think we've broken Yanis, and I think that is our show. Thank you so much to everyone for sticking around with us and hanging out and talking lore. And maybe sometime at some point we will finally get the final verdict on where a Minotaur's udders are. I'm gonna blow kisses because I think we have to say goodnight after that. Good night, you guys.
I'm gonna say right on the belly button, like wherever the belly button would be.
Oh my gosh.
That's my vote.
Good night.
I can just imagine like one big like cupped bra.
Yeah.
Yanis. Oh my gosh.
Like, yeah, if they're like a G cup, like,
are we gonna continue?
G for grass.